Follow University of Michigan Dearborn Athletics on Twitter at GoUMDearborn.
Live from the field house, U of M Dearborn. It is a WAC basketball doubleheader. He's Matt Lornick, I'm Justin Valentine, and we are bringing to you the first play starting on the women's side of things. Indiana Tech Warriors in the WAC as they take on the U of M Dearborn Wolverines. And Matt, Wolverines looking for their first win of the season.
Yep.
This is not the team you want to see on your schedule, though.
Nope.
You're looking for that first win.
No, definitely not. You know, you got to look at it from the standpoint, though, that Indiana Tech coming into this game, very likely, like happens in a lot of sports, could have already overlooked you.
Yes.
Indiana Tech could be looking to what's next on their schedule, what's not right in front of them. And so if that's the situation, Wolverines do have a potential to come out and scare them a little bit and see if they can really put together a game that could be, again, not as easy as Indiana Tech might think.
Warriors won the opening tip. Covington off on the jumper. Wolverines have the ball their first possession in the home whites. India Grissom out to Olivia Scott. That's a three that is short, and the rebound comes out to Covington. Real quick, the Wolverines starting five: Sydney Dixon, Olivia Scott, India Grissom, Jordan Banks, and Nyla Hood. Warriors, the offensive board with the ball, and the Road Blacks will get their starting five in just a moment. Second chance opportunity here for the Warriors. Stepping in for the three. Off the mark on that one, Burris, but another offensive board. Warriors 0 for 3. Another look for three. You had to think they were going to hit one of them.
Yep.
Covington did just that, and Indiana Tech strikes first.
Well, and that's the thing, right? You got a lot of players on this Indiana Tech team averaging over 5 rebounds a game, right? So you got to know you got to put some help down low if you're the Wolverines trying to get those extra possessions.
3 chances, and the Warriors got a 3 to fall to strike first. A minute 25 into this one. Wolverines, Scott already short on 1-3. Banks will put up a 3 off the iron. Rebound goes to Barton. Your starting 5 for the Warriors. Taylor Covington, who hit that 3. Juliana Burris, Genevieve Decker, Corin Smith, and Lauren Barton. The drive here, baseline under the basket. Nice feed in front. The floater falls for Decker, and a 5-0 start for Indiana Tech.
Well, and it's the 2 main scorers for Indiana Tech. Genevieve Decker and Taylor Covington, each averaging double digits in this game, in their season, I should say. Decker 14 a game and Covington 16. Wolverines got to know where that production's coming from, right? There's no reason to look anywhere else until someone else proves that they're going to be the ones to take care of business.
Yeah, and Nyla Hood getting the start on the drive, drawing a foul, and that is something she loves to do. We said it over and over again. She's getting a start. So we'll mention the sophomore at 5'3".
Yep.
Just puts her head down and runs into whatever traffic's in front of her. And she gets a foul. Now it's on the floor here, and it's the first against Smith. So the Wolverines, no free throws, but maintain possession. Thought Hood got into shooting motion there a bit, but did not give her the continuation as the Wolverines looking to get on the board against a Warrior team, as I mentioned, first place in the WAC, and they haven't lost in a very long time.
Yep.
As Banks kicks out a Scott corner 3, falls, and we're tied up at 3.
Yeah, and again, that's what the Wolverines need to start to do, is to get themselves little by little into this game, right? Find those things that are going to be, again, beneficial for them to be able to stay in this one.
They'll say Scott had a foot on the line, so it's 3-2. That's a definite 3, but it's short for Covington. Long rebound out of bounds, and the Wolverines will take it. 7:17 to go in this first quarter. Again, the Warriors come in 14-1 in conference play, 19-4 overall. But as I mentioned, they haven't lost in a while. They come in winners of 11 straight. They haven't lost since December 18th against Cornerstone.
Right, and that's something that the Wolverines need to understand is, you know, this team very used to winning, very used to putting together these kinds of complete games. And that's going to be tough for the Wolverines to combat, right?
Yeah.
It's something that they've struggled with pretty much, you know, all season long. And so now for them to try and be doing the opposite to Indiana Tech, it's a tough feat to take on.
Banks got the offensive board there and drew a second foul against Smith. So quickly into this one, Jacqueline Cruz, that jumper off the mark, rebound to Burris. Jordan Banks, you mentioned the Warriors defensively. Jordan Banks, third in the WAC at 7.6 rebounds a game.
Yeah, and that's someone that needs to get going in a lot of other ways, but part of the problem is going to be what we've got going on right here. I think a foul on Jordan Banks, and so it's a situation where you just run out of the bodies to be able to put together those types of plays. It looks like they aren't going to call it on her, though.
It'll be Olivia Scott's
Yeah.
first. Wolverines' first three-point play try coming for Decker, the senior out of New Baltimore. And the free throw falls. So an 8-2 lead for Indiana Tech. Wolverines looking to respond. Scott's pass intercepted. That's Burris. Turnover to the Warriors. 6.5 to play in the first. Driving after an open look for three, losing it. Traffic now in the paint, hitting the deck. Dixon and jump ball. Possession arrow gives it to the Wolverines, so the Wolverines force a turnover right back.
Yeah, no harm, no foul there. Luckily for the Wolverines, that's something, though, they got to be careful about. In a game like this, against a team like Indiana Tech's going to do enough on their own to get their own possessions. You don't need to do anything in your ability to give them extra ones, right? I think the biggest thing today has to be that ball control.
Grissom on the drive, tough luck miss. Rebound to Burris, the senior. Up court pass, though, could not connect to Cruz. So the Warriors a little sloppy early on. Another turnover and early substitutions as Jaden Gully is into this one, as is Amaris Lowry.
Yeah, and I think if you're head coach Jesse Biggs for Indiana Tech, you're definitely a little frustrated with the start of this thing. 8-2 against the Wolverines. I think I got to imagine that her conversation on that bench is not one of, again, that sort of like, hey, we got to come out here and play, right? Like, they're hanging with us, and what are we doing? And if you're the Wolverines, it has to just be the mindset of, look, we got to keep playing and chipping away little by little.
Well, Dixon was cutting one way. Grissom's pass went the other, so a turnover back to the Warriors, and Covington steps in. Elbow floater off the mark. Rebound to Hood. And here come the Wolverines pushing it up the floor. As you mentioned, down 8-2, under 6 minutes to go in this first quarter. Banks, free throw line, jumper falls.
There you go.
And the Wolverines cut it to within 4.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all you got to do, right? You stay in it by making the easy shots, by making the things that Indiana Tech gives you, and by just trying to play as solid a game on the other end as you can.
Wild miss on the drive there by Cruz. Wolverines another rebound, and they'll push it with Grissom.
Yeah, this is a game where pushing it's fine, but again, take some time every possession you get. Use that shot clock to your advantage when you're the Wolverines in this one.
Dixon, dangerous pass, finds Grissom. Still 15 on the shot clock. Banks, baseline jumper, in and out. Rebound comes down to Gully. Up court pass. It goes right back. Wolverines back on defense. It's Cruz again on the baseline. Hood staying in front of her. The Warriors getting a set possession. Screen to her left on the drive. Covington stayed with it. Pass finds Cruz. Got Grissom in the air. Stepped in for the jumper. Wild miss. Scott with the rebound. Warriors struggling from the floor right now. They're 3 of 10.
Yeah, look, if you're the Wolverines early on in this one, you got to be thinking, hey, you know what? Let's just keep hanging. You got to do what you can to stay in this thing, but Indiana Tech's giving you plenty of chances to do just that.
Grissom, strong drive, strong finish. It's 8-6.
Yeah, again, I think if you're Indiana Tech, you got to be feeling a little disappointed that this is how you come out so far. But the Wolverines, I love the fact that they just came ready to play, right? It could be any occasion, and the Wolverines right now are acting like it doesn't matter. They don't care who Indiana Tech is and who they are in the rankings.
Well, the Warriors, another turnover. That pass off the hands of Cruz and out of bounds. An early timeout, 4 minutes to go in the first. Wolverines down 2.
Catch up on University of Michigan Dearborn Athletics online at Dearborn Women's Basketball on Twitter at Dearborn WBB.
Wolverines hanging around early on in this one. 8-6 is the lead for Indiana Tech. He's Matt Lorneck. I'm Justin Valentine off the timeout. We were talking during the break, Matt. Indiana Tech, 3 turnovers. Allowing the Wolverines to keep this thing close.
Yeah, again, giving the Wolverines those extra chance opportunities that the Wolverines need to really focus on, right? I think we've talked about it a little bit already, but this game needs to be a matter of ball possession and not giving Indiana Tech anything extra. They will get enough opportunities themselves. Just don't give them anything extra.
Marissa Thomas off the bench for the Wolverines. Don't be fooled. That's their leading scorer. Long jumper. Another tough luck miss for Banks. Long rebound to Barton. And you like Coach Bowers bringing Thomas off the bench. Again, that's their leading scorer. His up-court feed. Tough miss down low.
Wow.
For goalie. Out of bounds. Wolverines ball. So again, the Warriors, some tough luck of their own in this first quarter. But again, Thomas coming off the bench. It's a bit of a strategy here. Leading scorer. Not in the starting 5 coming off the bench.
Yeah, and again, I'm interested to see why that might be. If, you put different people out there in the beginning of this thing thinking, hey, you know what, we got this thing, whatever, But, again, being the team that you are in that sort of underdog role tonight, it is interesting to see her come off the bench like that.
Banks finally gets one to go. That's a 3. A couple of tough luck misses, but now the Wolverines are up 1.
And it's almost in that situation of,
and responding on the other end with the 3 is Lowry.
when you leave her open, she'll hit it.
Warriors up 2.
But when you talk about the Wolverines and bringing her off the bench like that, it's like, hey, let's let 5 other people go out there and see what they can do.
Scott short on that 3. We have a 3-point shootout try. That's a couple weeks away in the NBA. I don't know if anybody's watching that anymore, but Warriors, a 2-point lead. A drive here to the basket, and the shot is short. Rebound to Banks.
Yeah, look, if you're the Wolverines, this is a time, right? Like you pushing the tempo a bit. Also like to see you have a good possession, have a solid possession where you use the whole clock.
Banks to the basket, off the glass, and in with the hook.
Yeah.
We're tied at 11. Banks with a quick 5. Up court pass. That one falls, counted in the foul. Goalie gets that one to go after missing it deep down low just a minute ago.
And that's going to be those situations that the Wolverines cannot allow Indiana Tech to get into. Kind of that run and gun, up and down the floor style of play. The Wolverines need to really keep this, again, as basic of a basketball game as you can, right? Like, this needs to be as boring of a game as possible. No run and gun, no up and down the floor. You call it, don't get in a track meet with them. That's what you need to not do. You need to let this thing be full possessions on either end of the floor.
3-point play try, no good. Warriors a 2-point lead. Thomas with the ball, as we mentioned, off the bench. Screen to her right. No look on the jumper. Nice job by Covington staying in front of her. Hood spins at the free throw line. Kick back out for Thomas. 5 on the shot clock. Thomas splits the defenders. Hard drive. Plenty of contact and no whistle either way.
Definitely interesting to see that not get called at all.
He was pushing bursts off of her, but the Warriors will bring it back up. Decker into the corner now for Lowry. Indiana Tech will work it around the perimeter, as you mentioned, slowing things down on their end. Another foul down low. That one doesn't fall for goalie, but free throws coming.
I mean, look, Jordan Banks, the one going to be called for the foul here. Not ideal. It's only her first, luckily, but again, somebody that you need to be careful about in the foul situation, right? You need her underneath the basket. Jordan Banks, one of these few Wolverines that, again, is coming in at 5'10", right? Somebody that you need to have so that you can get some height underneath that basket. That's a big deal, and so, I get bringing her off and putting her on the bench for a little bit.
First free throw falls, as you mentioned. Banks called for her first. Wolverines with 3, and that is 2 for the Warriors. Banks, 7 points, but to the bench, and that's an offensive rebound. It's a 3-point lead for the Warriors. Wide open. That's a 3 off the front iron. Offensive board, and the putback goes. Goalie active early on. She's got 5, and it's 16-11.
Yeah, the freshman getting involved, and that's something that the Wolverines probably didn't have checked off on their list of, hey, we got to watch out for. Gully only 6.2 points a game, so someone that isn't involved too much in the scoring, but making her presence known tonight.
Thomas spins to the basket for her first 2, and it's a 16-13 game in favor of Indiana Tech, coming up on the final 40 seconds of this quarter. On the baseline, Barton And they'll work it around the Warriors. More set possessions the last few go-arounds. Driving baseline short on the floater. Own putback in and out for Burris. Wolverines get the rebound with Hood. 25 seconds to go. Hood surrounded by two defenders.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, she's slowing it down, stayed with it.
Yeah, use all 25 that you got there. You don't want to give Indiana Tech any opportunity to have the last shot here.
Wolverines down 3. Coming up in the final 10 seconds of the first quarter. Grissom with the ball. 5 seconds. Grissom screen to her right from Scott. Elbow jumper, wild miss. Rebound again. That is goalie, and nothing will come from that. Through 10 minutes of play, Indiana Tech a 16-13 lead.
I mean, look, if you're the Wolverines and you said, hey, Coach Bowers, you can be down by 3 after the first. What do you think? Like, okay.
You'll take it.
Like, I'll take that, right?
You'll take it. Wolverines trying to stick around long enough to pull off an upset. They're down 3 after 1.
Follow University of Michigan Dearborn Athletics on Twitter at GoUMDearborn. Catch up on University of Michigan Dearborn Athletics online at www.athletics.umdearborn.edu.
Wolverines down 3, and that jumper, no, it's a travel.
Wow.
Turnover for the Warriors, and already in this first half, they got 4 of those. And the Wolverines down 16-13 to begin this second quarter. Matt, you mentioned if you told Coach Bowers,
yeah,
you guys are down 3 after 1, no matter how you got there, you'll take it.
You'll take it. Yeah, you will take it. And it's interesting to see, right? Because Indiana Tech, are they playing their everybody that you would say? Yeah, they are. Like, they're playing everybody. And so this is not like Indiana Tech said, hey, we're going to put in, our 5, our bottom 5 and see what happens. Like,
sure.
They're out there trying just as much as the Wolverines are.
Yep.
Just right now, the Wolverines are the ones that came ready to play, and Indiana Tech, quite frankly, as of now, doesn't look like it.
Another strong drive, but Grissom can't finish there. Rebound to Barton. Warriors will push it up the floor. Already 1 turnover in this quarter, as I mentioned, 4 in the half. Wolverines with 3. Pass deep to Decker, off the glass too hard. Offensive board, getting tied up Grissom with Barton. I believe she took a shot to the face there, and it looks like we have our first Wolverine foul, and it comes 47 seconds into the quarter. And the Warriors will go to the line. The foul will be the first against Grissom. I mentioned last time we saw this Wolverine team at home against Concordia last week.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about it. They were up 20-16 after 1 quarter, and everything was looking good, but then the final score, 92-59.
Yeah.
So Wolverines got to find a way to get that effort again. Another solid first quarter.
Yeah.
Can't let this game get away.
No, and that's what we talked about too, right? Like the consistency that every coach in every sport, once you've figured out how to do it once, that's probably one of the more frustrating things. How do we continue to bottle that and do it every single time? And I think that's where the Wolverines all season long, it's kind of been that that way of, look, how can we keep doing when we find good things that we're doing well? They've got a deeper bench. They've got more bodies to be able to use, which is great, and you hope that comes into play at some point.
Wilson's 3 in and out offensive board. Banks
good
can't
look.
find Dixon, but Hood backed it up. Wilson another 3 off the mark, and the rebound brought down by Covington.
Yeah, use the whole shot clock, man. After you get a nice rebound like that, use that whole shot clock.
Warriors looking deep for Barton again, tied up with Banks.
I don't like that either because that's 2 on Banks.
Yep, and the Wolverines with 2 in the quarter, 8:35 to go in the half. And for Banks, as you mentioned, that's 2 on her. 7 points, 3 rebounds, a nice first half thus far for Banks. And I think she's lobbying with the bench to keep her in.
I get it, but man, you're going to need Jordan Banks later, right? There's no doubt about that. And I think if you've already gotten into the position of having 2 fouls this early in the game, we need you for other things, right?
Yeah.
We're going to need you later. So I think you got to try and rely on some other bodies there, right? Like, this is probably the deepest bench we've seen for the Wolverines in a while.
Yes.
Now, that's always been something in these past few seasons that has been a struggle of theirs, is to keep a deeper bench. So get some other players in there, right? Like, throw some other bodies in there.
And that's the second time we've seen that from the Wolverines, not specifically Wilson, where you have a pass go one way and the Wolverine go the other way. And a turnover back to Indiana Tech. Gully had a nice first quarter. Banks knocked down that pass, but it found Covington for 3 off the back iron.
Gotta have it. There you go.
Long rebound to Dixon. Wolverines will push. Ahead to Hood. To the basket. Wild shot. Too hard off the glass, and the rebound brought down by Barton.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's got to be some strategy to this game against a team like Indiana Tech. There just has to be. I love that she goes to the basket so hard, that Nyla Hood has that fearlessness. But, man, sometimes you got to know when to slow it down. This is one of those games. You got to slow it down.
Well, after Decker's basket, just like that, it's a 9-point lead for Indiana Tech, 22-13. Thomas has it. Wolverines looking to respond and silence that Warriors bench a bit.
Yeah, look, we started down 3 at the beginning of this quarter, right? This is not where the Wolverines want to be.
Thomas stepped out of bounds.
Okay.
7:36 to go. Wolverines turn it back over to Indiana Tech. That's going to be 6 turnovers now on Dearborn.
Yeah.
And Indiana Tech looking to continue to pull away a bit. A 6-0 start to the second quarter.
This is where you really, though, need a stop, right? You would love to see the Wolverines get a stop and then go get points. You just got to find a way to stop that Indiana Tech run.
Thomas went down to go for that ball, left open to drive, and it rolled off the basket. Banks a strong rebound. Wolverines.
Use it, though, man. Use the whole shot clock.
Fortunate that time around, and again, another mistake that you just can't coach. It's like, it's just bad luck.
Yeah.
Thomas lost control of that dribble out of bounds. She's going to the bench. Wilson is as well, and it's Warrior ball. Dixon, Grissom, Hood, Banks, and Scott on the floor for Dearborn.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams right now trying to turn the ball over as much as possible. Indiana Tech 4 turnovers, the Wolverines 6. Luckily, points off of turnovers, not very slighted, right? Indiana Tech hasn't really done much with it in the opportunities they've had, except for this one.
Yeah, they get away. Decker all alone under the basket. Goalie found it. It's a double-digit lead now, 24-13.
Yeah, if you're the Wolverines, right, we've talked about it. You got to find the ways to keep it close.
8-0 start and another throwaway intercepted by Gully.
Yeah.
Warriors will slow it down a bit. Wolverines get back on defense. Decker works it to Barton. Scott on her. That's a mismatch there in size. See if they use it. Instead, Decker turnaround hook off the glass and in. And we have a timeout on the floor. 6:16 to go in the half. Strong start for the Warriors. They're up 13.
Watch all the in-game action live online at www.athletics.umdearborn.edu. Catch up on University of Michigan Dearborn athletics online at www.athletics.umdearborn.edu.
Well, the Wolverines last week, we mentioned a 4-point lead after one quarter against Concordia. It was that second quarter that started their downfall.
Yeah.
They were held to 7 points. And from there...
So far, they've been held to 0 points.
Yeah, from there it went downhill. And so far, as you mentioned, 0 points in the second quarter, 4 minutes in. Banks, turnaround jumper, was hounded by 2 defenders. Off the mark, Warriors get the rebound.
Yeah, look, Indiana Tech, a phenomenal team. Their record proves it. The Wolverines know that. Indiana Tech knows that, but the Wolverines playing with some house money a little bit. They got to keep playing it out.
Scott forced a turnover there. She's had a nice first half,
Yes.
very active. Hood for 3, off the mark. She hit one last week against Concordia. They left her open, dared her to shoot it.
Yeah.
And she did.
And again, it's okay if that's the shot that you normally take, right? If that's your go-to, but the Wolverines tonight, we talked about it. A lot of things have to really go their way to put themselves in an opportunity to be able to win this game. And the Wolverines were doing it in the first quarter. Second quarter hasn't been as much of it yet, but it's still, it's not out of reach by any means.
Covington short on that 3. Wolverines with the rebound. Banks, long 2, off the mark. Rebound to Burris. Back and forth we go. Both teams empty on their possessions out of the timeout. Clean rebounds, clean play. Covington, Decker, Burris. Good ball movement around the perimeter. Decker against Grissom. Banks with help. What a feed to the basket. And drawing another foul is Gully going to the line. Great find there from Decker. Drawn up play very nicely.
Yeah.
Just could not finish it. But again, they get free throws out of the deal. 3 fouls on the Wolverines and 2 on Dixon.
Yeah, and again, we talk about the opportunity from these different players that have been able to get into this game, right? And the Wolverines, again, seemingly finding as best they can, but again, Indiana Tech with Decker out there and now getting that help from Gully, sort of for Indiana Tech, the person you wouldn't expect to be putting up good numbers. And Gully's playing a phenomenal game so far, so you got to tip your hat to her for coming out and stepping up her role. The Wolverines now just need to find a way to understand that she's got a hot hand and find a way to come out and stop it a bit.
Well, the Warriors still a 13-point lead. Hood to Banks. And the Wolverines will work it. Banks on the drive to the basket. Short, but she draws a foul.
Okay.
Free throws coming. It'll be her first trip to the line. And we mentioned 3rd in the conference in rebounds, and she's already at 6.5. She averages just over 7. She also leads the conference in blocks per game. And
Yeah.
I was able to talk to her mom a week or 2 ago, and they take that stat very, very seriously, that blocks per game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love that, right? It's you normally want to score all the points, and it's not usually the top stat you think about.
No, but you need people to play those roles, right? You need people to be in those places, to do those things that nobody else, and that's not that nobody else wants to do, but that other people are better at than others, right? And I think when you talk about team cohesion as a whole, right? Let's throw it back to what some people remember for the 04 Pistons, right?
Yes.
Everybody had their role. Everybody did their thing.
Yep.
And when you have those types of teams where everybody just knows their role and that it's for the greater good, you're really not concerned about how many points you score.
Well, Banks, a little bit of everything. That's what she does. She can score 8 points leading the way, 6 rebounds. Mentioned the blocks. I mean, again, a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything for this Wolverine team. Is that 3 falls for Covington and Jordan Banks in her senior season. So the Wolverines definitely want to get that goose egg off the board, specifically for someone like her in their record.
Absolutely, and when you can get, more people doing more things, right, and you can start having people, similar to, performing, I guess, in a similar manner that Jordan Banks does, right? People that can do more than just one thing. Yeah. That's when a lot of stuff starts to go your way. So the Wolverines, I think, have still all season kind of been looking for that, right? Who are going to be those people that can do other things, can rebound, can put up points, but can also be there to make the assists when they need to.
Well, the Wolverines have it 17 on their shot clock. They're down 29-14.
Oh!
That rattles home in the corner. That's a 3, and that falls for Lillian Golson. 29-17. So the last one we thought there was a foot on the line. This time, for sure, a 3. And The Warriors' lead is 12.
Yeah, again, just steady, steady, steady as the Wolverines can go.
On the drive, rebound out of bounds. It'll stay with the Warriors off the miss from Covington. And for the Wolverines, they're 2 of 9 from downtown, shooting 30% overall, but the Warriors not much better, 37% in this first half.
Indiana Tech definitely struggling so far in this game, right? They are playing, I think if you were Coach Biggs, you would probably in coach speak say, hey, we're playing down to our opponent. But if you're the Wolverines, you got to play up to your opponent.
Sure.
And that's exactly what they've done so far. So when you talk about that, the Wolverines have done everything they've had to do that we would expect them to do to have a chance in this game.
Scott for 3 off the front iron, and it stays out. Rebound to Burris. 3:15 to go in this first half. Wolverines down 29-17. Again, it's been a quiet second quarter as that drive goes off the glass and in for Covington. Wolverines thus far, 4 points in this second quarter. 15-4 is the lead for the Warriors in this quarter, and they're up 14.
Yeah, and that's where the Wolverines need to, again, take some of the time that's left these last few 3 minutes.
Great find. Dixon under the basket for the easy 2.
But again, take these last 3 minutes and do everything you possibly can to close the gap. Everything you can.
We say it a lot, especially in a situation when you're 0-for on the season. Keep it within single digits going into that halftime locker room.
As best you can.
Wolverines down 12 within striking distance of that, but that 3 makes it a bit harder.
Yeah.
That's Covington, and it's 34-19.
Yeah, you just can't leave her open like that. You know, I mean, it's someone who on the stat sheet, we circled her name well before this thing even started and said, hey, know where Covington is at all times.
Covington, 11 points, 3 of 5 from downtown. Decker, 11 points as well to lead the way. There's Covington again. She is 5 of 10 in this first half.
Look, putting a hand in her face is one thing, but you gotta play some better defense on her. She can make the shots with hands in her face.
36-19 is the lead. Dixon gets it back. So that Wolverine deficit growing quickly. Banks in front of the basket. Turnaround Jay. Wild miss. Rebound Barton. Minute 45 to go in this first half. That pass brought down by Smith. Pivots against Golson. The hook stays out. Banks with the rebound. She's got 8 of those to go with her 8 points. And the Wolverines will slow things down a bit, bringing it up the floor. Final 90 seconds of this first half. Grissom top of the key. Screen to her right, leaves her open, but they're going to call it an illegal screen, I think, or did Scott get hit?
Well, Scott definitely got hit. I don't know.
Scott's even asking, too. Is it on me or nope, that's going to go.
It is going to go on her.
It is going to go against her, it looks like. Minute 23 to go. Thought it was a good screen. Scott took the hit as she tried to power through it.
I guess it's just hard, right? Like, you get hit. Are you supposed to, do you go down? Like, you can't, Sure, you can go down, but...
It's a tough break because it left Grissom open.
It did.
For the moment. So the Wolverines unable to take advantage of that potential look. And a minute 23 to go. Scott's going to go to the bench. She's got 2 fouls. Wolverines 4 1/4. The Wolverines bring Wilson back in. Warriors with 80 seconds to go in a half. And the Wolverines force a turnover. Dixon the other way for the easy 2.
There you go.
Dixon getting active late in this first half.
Yep. And hey, sometimes that's all it takes, right? Sometimes that is all you need to kind of get things going back in your favor.
She's got 4. Here she comes again. Short Covington.
There you go.
Hard
Good.
rebound.
No
goalie.
fouls. No fouls.
Went down. Warriors offensive board, though. There she is again. Covington, 3 off the mark. Golson brings down the rebound. Wolverines, 45 seconds to go in a half.
Yeah, probably 2 possessions here left.
Banks at the free throw line against goalie. Good matchup. And they're going to say she traveled. 40.3 seconds to go. The Wolverines now 9 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah, again, not the situation you want to be in. 5 points off of those 9 turnovers for Indiana Tech. Conversely, though, Indiana Tech 6 turnovers. The Wolverines only 2 points off of those turnovers. So that's where we talk about it, right? Do not give them those extra opportunities. Indiana Tech's going to have enough of them on their own.
30 seconds to go. Warriors have it, and the Wolverines going to try to keep this deficit where it is, which is 15. Covington gets a screen to her left, doing it all by herself in this possession. Goalie, good ball movement to Barton to the basket for the 2. And it's 38-21. Wolverines have time, though.
They do.
10 seconds. Grissom will bring it up again. We'll see what they do this time around. They had it late in the first quarter as well.
I mean, the time's really running out. I don't know what she's waiting for.
3 seconds, and they get a bump on the Warriors, but just their second foul. And if anything, that plays into the Warriors' favor. You have fouls to give, 2.3 seconds to go. You chop up this Wolverine possession, and you have no look.
Right, exactly. Now you're making them essentially have to pass it in and find a look right away. You're not really giving them anything where they can set it up like they'd like.
And that inbounds pass intercepted. Decker for 3 at the buzzer, wild miss. By the way, that foul was the first on Barton. And again, the Wolverines' second quarter, not pretty. After a strong first quarter, they're held under 10 points for a quarter again, outscored 22-8 in those 10 minutes, and they go into the halftime locker room down by 17.
Yeah, and again, it's, Indiana Tech, taking what Indiana Tech does and really slow playing it in the sense of, look, hey, we'll take the first quarter to figure out who it is that we've got going tonight. We'll take the first quarter to feel out who you've got going tonight, and then we'll come back and we'll really punch you in the mouth in the second quarter, and that's exactly what Indiana Tech did. Now, by no means is this like a, hey, yeah, it's over, what are we going to... No, this is definitely just like a, hey, we'll go back and just understand what Indiana Tech now has in the bag of what they can do. They showed a lot of pressure underneath the basket in that second quarter. The Wolverines, knowing that, you know what you're going to have to do? Work the ball inside, work the ball outside.
Yeah.
Get people flying inside, get people really attracted to what's happening under the basket, and then kick it back out. Because if that consistent ball movement is just slow, they're going to be able to move to it. If that ball movement's fast, you're going to be able to get Indiana Tech off their game, and then they're going to have to adjust again.
Well,
it's by no means out of reach, but it's definitely a harder hill to climb.
Well, the leaders at the break for the Warriors, Taylor Covington, 13 points, 3 of 6 from downtown. Meanwhile, Genevieve Decker's doing it inside the paint, 5 of 8, 11 points, 3 rebounds herself. Jordan Banks, a strong first half for the Wolverines, 8 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist. But after the first half of play, the Wolverines trailing at home, looking for that first win of the season. Indiana Tech, a 38-21 lead.
Follow University of Michigan Dearborn Athletics on Twitter at GoUMDearborn.
everywhere I go. Catch me on the block like a Mutombo. 750 Lambo in the Utah snow. Trunk in the front like a Dumbo, yeah. Cut the roof off like a nip tuck. Pull up to the house with some big butts. Turn the kitchen counter to a strip club. Me and Drake came for the. When I got quiet, all of y'all disappeared. Before I dropped Sony, none of y'all really care. Now they always say congratulations to the kid. And this is not a 40, but I'm pouring out this shit. Used to have a lot, but I got more now. Made another hit, cause I got bored now. Always going for it, never pump fourth down. Last call, Hail Mary, Prescott, touchdown, hey. 100 bands in my pocket, it's on me. 100 deep when I roll like the army. Get more bottles, these bottles are lonely. It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow. 100 bands in my pocket, it's on me. Yeah, your grandma will probably know me. Get more bottles, these bottles are lonely. It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Just sing to me when I'm not sleeping. You're all I need, and when my heart starts beating, just sing to me. When I'm not sleeping, you're all I need, and just sing to me. Won't you sing me your sweet lullaby? Just the sound of your voice is the thing that I need. Won't you sing me your sweet lullaby? I can fall for the sound of your sweet melody. 'Cause I just need your song, something to sing along. When I'm not feeling strong, I need you to sing me your sweet lullaby. Need the sound of your sweet melody, so sing to me.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Get down, girl, gon' head, get down. Get down, girl, gon' head, get down. Get down, girl, gon' head, get down. Get down, girl, gon' head. Cutie the bomb, met her at a beauty salon with a baby Louis Vuitton under her underarm. She said, I could tell you rock, I could tell by your charm. Far as girls, you got a flock, I could tell by your charm and your arm, but I'm looking for the one. Have you seen her? My psychic told me she have a like Serena, Trina, Gina for Lopez, 4 kids, and I gotta take all they bad to showbiz. Okay, get your kids, but then they got their friends. I pulled up in the Benz, they all got a bin. We all went to den, and then I had to pay. If you f***ing with this girl, then you better be paid. You know why? Take too much to touch her. From what I heard, she got a baby by Buster. My best friend said she used to f with Usher. I don't care what none of y'all say, I still love her. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Get down, girl, gon' head, get down. Get down, girl, gon' head, get down. Get down, girl, gon' head, get down. Get down, girl, gon' head. 18 years, she got one of your kids, got you for 18 years. I know somebody paying child support for one of his kids. His baby mama car crib is bigger than his. You will see him on TV any given Sunday. Win a Super Bowl and drive off in a Hyundai. She was supposed to buy your shorty Tyco with your money. She went to the doctor, got lipo with your money.
Follow Michigan Dearborn Women's Basketball on Twitter at Dearborn WBB.
Second half of play set to kick off here from the field house at U of M Dearborn. He's Matt Larnack. I'm Justin Valentine. Wolverines trailing a very good Indiana Tech team, 38-21. Warriors looking to stay red hot. Again, they've won 11 straight. They haven't lost since before Christmas.
Yep.
And the Wolverines, a tough second quarter, held to 8 points and looking to keep this thing within striking distance for an upset here in the second half.
Yeah, and it's got to be just like you said, right? Striking distance. And that doesn't necessarily mean, again, you know, you're going to get it all back at once. What it does mean is you got to value your possession every single time you get a possession. You can't turn the ball over. Do not give Indiana Tech anything extra.
Well, Grissom missed on the drive. Decker got deep and got the 2. She's got 13, tied for the lead for all scores with Covington, her teammate. Jordan Banks leading the Wolverines with 8. Grissom to the basket, short on that drive again. So a quick 0 for 2 for Grissom. And the Warriors with the rebound.
And the Wolverines, again, it's not that matter of get it all back right away. It needs to be that slow momentum, slowly building. It's not going to happen all at once.
Indiana Tech, a 40-21 lead. And that's going to be an illegal screen going against the Warriors. Dixon took the shot. She's trying to shake it off that left arm or shoulder.
Yeah, and look,
still feeling it.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what happens, right? To be able to really, you don't want to say sell it, but to really make it look as bad as it could be, you need to go. You need to run hard through it, and that might end up hurting you. But you know, again, it's the only way you're going to get the call.
Fouls the second on Barton. Banks for 3, stays out. Rebound brought down by Covington, the junior. And Indiana Tech up the floor, looking to get the lead into the 20s. Grissom given some space, no look for Decker. They work it back to Covington. Pump fake, gives burst on the drive against Hood. Nice job staying in front of her on defense. Top key 3, in and out. Rebound knocked around.
That's
Barton
a travel.
found it.
Ooh,
yeah.
oh, wow.
They're going to say she did not have full control over it, so
Okay.
no travel. Covington short on that three.
Ball don't lie
There
there.
it is. Grissom gets the rebound. Here come the Wolverines looking to get on the board in this third quarter. Banks bounces it. Dixon. Step back, long two, short. Rebound knocked around. Scott got the offensive board. Grissom works at the hood in the corner. Back to Grissom.
Oh,
feeds it deep. Banks.
Wasn't even ready for it.
Well, Hood this time finds Banks ready for it and got it deflected down by Decker.
Yeah, Banks looking for a call. Working hard down low underneath the basket. Not going to get it yet.
Indiana Tech works it back for a corner three that is off the mark by Smith. Banks the rebound. Here come the Wolverines.
Look, Indiana Tech's missed a few times now up and down the floor. The Wolverines, if you want to have the opportunity to take advantage of some of those, you got to turn some of these trips back down the floor into points for yourself.
Scott for three. Rims out. Rebound brought down by Covington. Up and down we go. Indiana Tech's okay with that with a 19-point lead.
Yeah, they're going to be the ones that are definitely okay with the up and down. The Wolverines, on the other hand, slowly but surely, you just start to run out of time.
Covington off on that three. Dixon to the basket off the glass.
There we go.
Count it, and the foul. With 6:55 to go in the third. And that's what we're talking about. The Warriors, they're up 17. They're not playing their A game tonight.
No.
They're missing a lot of shots, especially in this second half.
Yep.
And the Wolverines need to take advantage.
Right, exactly. You need to go down the floor and do what you can when you have those opportunities. Indiana Tech is 15 of 40.
Yeah.
Like, they're not playing like an Indiana Tech team normally would play. Take advantage of that when you've got that opportunity. The only downside is the Wolverines, conversely, are shooting 10 of 35, right? So it's like, you know, you're not doing enough to help yourself.
3-point play try coming for Barton now after the missed free throw on the other end, 42-23.
Don't know the bigger discrepancies, though, that, again, you hate to bring it into the conversation, but it's really the free throws. The Wolverines, just 1 of 3 attempts.
Yeah.
Indiana Tech, 6 of 10 attempts, right? Like, it's hard to imagine that it's been that lopsided.
And that's what Coach Bowers is having a conversation with the official. Free throw doesn't fall. That is 3 fouls on Scott. And the Wolverines will have to work with that.
Yeah,
Hood lost control of the ball.
I'm a little surprised Scott didn't come out of the game or they didn't sub her out. You know, she's been playing well. 3 fouls, we've talked about it. That's dangerous territory to be in, especially for someone like Scott who has been, again, playing really well so far.
Feed deep down to Barton. Reverse off the glass and in. Barton active to start this second half. It's 44-23. She's got 10 now to go with 9 rebounds, so already pushing a double-double.
Yeah, again, you got to imagine, like, that's what's going to happen.
Banks hit hard.
Got to be a shooting foul.
And it definitely is. We got free throws coming. So that's going to be 3 on the Warriors. They're dealing with some foul trouble as well. Smith has 3, Barton with 2. And that was actually going to be 3 on Barton as well. And again, mentioned her strong start, 10 points, 9 rebounds in the second half. 3 for 3 from the floor. First free throw falls for Banks. Double-double coming for Banks as well. 9 points, 10 rebounds of her own. And
you love to see that kind of production out of one player, but it's tough when it's only one player.
Yes.
You know, you look at the other side on the stat line for Indiana Tech, they have multiple players with a good amount of rebounds, right? Barton's got 9, Burris has 6, Decker's got 5, Covington 5, Gully another 5, right? Like, that's a lot of people that are leading the rebounding charge. The next closest rebounder for the Wolverines is Scott, Grissom, and Hood, each with 3, right? So you'd love to see more of your Wolverine bodies getting involved underneath the basket.
well, that would be why the Warriors a 32-23 advantage in the rebound category. And we have a whistle on the floor fighting for that rebound, 5:39 to go.
Yeah, another foul.
Warriors a 19-point lead. This one's going to be the 3rd on Dixon, 2 on the Wolverines. So 5 combined fouls in the opening 4:21 of this third quarter.
You know, and then the Wolverines, they're a little more, I would say, congested in terms of the fouls, right?
Yeah.
Like Indiana Tech, they got 2 people that are pretty much the only ones they got to worry about, Corin
Yeah.
Smith and Lauren Barton. After that, though, the Wolverines, they're all sort of, again, in that foul trouble area.
Covington hit that jumper, 46-25. Thomas responds with a jumper of her own. She's got 4. She was taken out early in that first half.
Yeah.
After a couple of miscues on the floor. 46-27. Wolverines at this point keeping it within 20. Next step, of course, is within 10.
Yeah.
Long 2, nothing but net. That's Burris. 48-27.
Yeah, Wolverines, again, it's got to be that little by little. It's all you can say. That's the only way you can do it.
Another strong drive by Grissom. She's got 4. She's not afraid to shoot it despite a tough percentage thus far, 2 of 9. Now getting back on defense against Covington on the baseline.
Yeah, you love to see this Wolverine team fighting on defense, have a solid outing each time you have those opportunities to play defense. That's got to be the bigger focal point of the game.
Good feed down low. Unable to complete it, though, is goalie. Thomas gets the rebound. Here come the Wolverines. Deficit is 19. Thomas, no room for a drive. She'll back it up and reset. Scott on the wing. Wolverines drawing something up here now. Thomas stopped by goalie on the drive on the baseline. Nice move behind the back to the basket. What a finish. Thomas doing it herself to make it a 17-point game.
Yeah, it's a great play. Now, again, we talk about it. We need defense on this side of the floor.
They find Burris for a drive. She had some space. She took advantage of it.
You know, the Wolverines tried to double in the corner, and they just did not get the ball back.
Grissom responds with a strong drive and draws a foul. So free throws coming for her. That's going to be 4 fouls on the Warriors with 3:44 to go in this third quarter. Lowry going to come back in after the media timeout. 3:44 to go in the third. The Warriors' lead is 19.
Follow Michigan Dearborn Women's Basketball on Twitter at Dearborn WBB. Michigan Dearborn Women's Basketball on Twitter at Dearborn WBB.
Wolverines at the line off the timeout. First free throw is good for Grissom. 3:44 to go in this third quarter. Indiana Tech a 50-32 advantage, and that last foul was the first on Burris. Grissom at the line for the first time this evening. She's got 6, make it 7. It's a 17-point game. He's Matt Lornick. I'm Justin Valentine. Game 1 of a basketball doubleheader. Same 2 schools. The men's side of things coming up approximately 20 minutes following the conclusion of this one. A little earlier start than originally scheduled due to some winter weather coming late tonight. Indiana Tech, of course, has to travel back home.
Yes.
They want to beat that. So the Wolverines giving them the opportunity to do so. Hopefully sending them home with a couple losses.
That's the hope.
Empty possession for the Warriors on one end. Dixon is open for 3, short. She's been short on that 3 so far. That rebound kept in bounds, and the Warriors found it. Up court pass knocked away by Banks into the hands of Scott. Wolverines forced a turnover. Try to chip away. Deficit down to 17. Dixon on the drive, and the miss is short again. Rebound to Barton. So Dixon having a hard time the last couple looks.
Yeah, again, it hasn't been the easiest time for the Wolverines.
The Warriors' foul trouble continues in this third quarter. That's 5 on them.
Yep.
Another illegal screen, I believe, with 2:39 to go in the third, and goalie quickly back in, and it will be Barton to sit because she's got 4 fouls now. You mentioned 2 players to worry about for the Warriors.
Yep. She's definitely one of them in terms of the foul trouble, especially, and again, it's a situation that you don't like if you're the Warriors because she's one of the leading scorers tonight for the Warriors. Again, sitting there with 10 points, 10 rebounds, right? If you're a Warrior fan, you hate to see her have to come out of the game with another foul, but right now, she's going to sit with 4 because there's just no way you can put her in the game.
Well, Scott just got taken out with 2:26 to go. Did we just get a tech against Scott? Now, here's the interesting thing. Warriors got called for that original foul.
They did, yes.
I believe Coach Bowers thought Scott was getting called for that.
Yeah.
I think Scott thought so as well when she got up off the floor and she started complaining, and instead of correcting her, they gave her a tech.
Yeah, which is a very interesting decision to make.
The foul was on Covington.
But is this now going to be who's the tech foul on, though?
And that whistle came right now. So that free throw does not count. 2:26 to go in the third. I don't know the last time I saw a coach get a tech after the other team got called for a foul.
Yeah, it's definitely a interesting situation. I think.
But if I'm the refs, you got to just correct.
You got to
her.
just say, "Hey, whoa, no, it's okay, it's on them." Yeah, don't worry. And again, it's a little laughing joke here between Jessie Biggs and Brooke Bowers. Both of them over at the scorer's table, kind of having a chuckle about this.
I mean, and we could hear from up here, Coach Bowers vocally apologize. I think the Wolverines bench loves the fire, but
Coach Biggs for Indiana Tech kind of just standing there laughing it off as well because you just don't even really know where what this situation's turning into.
And again,
at this point.
the Coach Bowers' defense, Scott also thought the foul was on her as well. She got up wondering how, because she got basically run over by Covington, and she was kind of questioning as well. So I think Scott added to Bowers, wondering, thinking
a whole lot of confusion
that she got the call. So now I don't know what the discussion is. Can you take the tech away because she was wrong? Because we have a whole discussion going on here. 2:26 to go in this third. They have not put that free throw. I don't believe that free throw counted for Covington.
No, not yet.
She's still waiting to shoot one.
Well, it seems as if the one that she shot, right, they obviously pulled that off.
Yeah, the whistle went before
she even,
like while she was in motion.
As she was shooting.
Are we just going to...
They're going to let Scott shoot now.
So I believe the conversation was the order.
They made the correct call, yes.
Yes. So Scott's going to shoot because that foul puts the Wolverines in the bonus.
Right. So Scott will get to shoot, but then also I have a feeling, like we said, we're going to see it go the other way as well after this, potentially. So Scott makes the free throws, but will there be another one? And it looks like there will be.
Yes. So now... Man, I don't remember the last time I saw a tech, and I know,
Yeah.
I look, if I'm an official, I'm just correcting her. Unless she said something, but if I'm an official, I'm just correcting her.
Yeah,
you know
again,
what I mean?
You're going text aside now for...
Because here's my thing. If, she clearly had a point if she genuinely thought the foul was against them because the foul was not against them. Right? Again, I'm in the boat. I'm in the camp of correct her and move on. But 1 for 2 at the line on the technical foul free throws for Covington.
Okay.
51-35. So
you got that all figured out.
Wolverines kind of win that because Scott went 2 for 2, so it's now a 16-point deficit. Warriors get the ball. 2:26 to go. So again, the Wolverines continue to chip away. And the Warriors will get it in for Covington. Working it around the perimeter. Back to Covington. Drives, kicked into the corner for 3, off the mark for Lowry. Here come the Wolverines after a stop on defense, coming up in the final 2 minutes of the third.
Yeah, Wolverines need to control it, though, here.
Thomas for 3, off the iron. And the rebound into the hands of Covington. She's got 6 of those. Screen to her right, free throw line jumper, too hard off the glass.
Wow.
Grissom, nice job to stay with her, but the offensive board goes to Gully. Warriors will work it around Lowry. Down low, Decker posting up on Banks. Off balance, Banks got the block.
Here we go.
Here come the Wolverines as they push it up the floor. Slowing things down with Grissom. Now Banks will take the 3 and make the 3.
There you go.
13-point game. Just over a minute to go. Wolverines coming out of the halftime locker room, winning this third quarter thus far.
Yeah, and again, that's what we've had to see them do is, right, just go out and keep winning as many quarters as you can. That's where the opportunities are going to be given to you. But, again, putting it where they have, it's been exciting to see.
Kick out for 3 off the iron. Long rebound, let it go. Warriors try to save it. It's out of bounds. Wolverines take it. They're winning this third quarter 17-13.
Yep.
Burrison. It will be Smith to sit. 50.1 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Wolverines down 13.
But again, striking distance, right?
Yes.
We talked about that. That ever so close double-digit lead slowly dwindling away. The Wolverines need to just keep playing the way they're playing.
Grissom had space for 3 off the iron. And the rebound to Burris. It looked good.
He did.
30 seconds to go. There is a shot clock as they move it up the floor to Decker.
No
Count
way.
it, and the foul.
Olivia Scott's going to be out of this game.
Scott
No, she's not.
on a drive-by, basically.
Yeah.
Just got a hand in there with 25.9 seconds to go. Going to be 4 fouls on the Wolverines. Scott with 4. It's
Yep.
actually 3 on the Wolverines. So Scott will sit with 4. Wilson is in. And at the line, Decker. And the free throw falls. 54-38. Wolverines. That deficit just like that back up to 16. They can hold for the final shot. Grissom will drive instead through 3 defenders, but a wild miss.
Yeah.
Lowry got the rebound, 10 seconds to go. Warriors will have a shot at the final shot. Screen to her right. On the drive to the basket, Covington finishes.
Oh, that's just too easy.
2 seconds to go, and the Wolverines will let it go.
Can't let an ending drive be that easy.
It's a tough finish to the third quarter. Wolverines look good for most of that third quarter,
Yeah.
and then a quick 5 at the very end. And through 3 quarters of play, Indiana Tech, an 18-point lead on the road.
Well, and you talk about it, right? Like, it's still just this glaring second quarter for the Wolverines. That's still what has been biting them. The first quarter, they were down 3. After the third, they were only down 1, right?
Yeah.
The biggest differential that you're going to see is that 22-8 second quarter that they had.
Right.
And so if you're the Wolverines, you go into this fourth, it really has to be that mindset of, look, like, I would pull up those 2 stats right there and say, hey, look, we can play with this team,
Yeah.
right? We are right in this game.
Yeah.
We're hanging around. We're doing everything we can to be in this still. Yeah, are the turnovers great? No, you've got 11 of them. Indiana Tech has 9 of them. And the points off turnovers, Indiana Tech's turned that into 9 points, right? So there's other glaring things that aren't going too well. But regardless, it's as simple as saying, look, we can play with this team.
Yeah.
What are we going to do when we come back out here? How are we going to really respond to that?
I mean, if you look at, as you mentioned, each category, there is not much of a difference.
No.
I mean, Indiana Tech got their shooting percentage up to 40%. But, I mean, they're shooting 4 of 18 from 3. Wolverines, 3 of 16.
Yeah.
You know, the free throws look pretty even. You mentioned the turnovers. A lot of it, too, is the second chance points
Yes.
and the rebounding.
That's
right?
big. That's
That
big.
is huge. That is an 11-3 advantage in offensive boards for Indiana Tech and a 9-0 advantage in second chance points.
Right.
There's your difference
Yeah.
right there. You're
Yep.
talking about an 18-point game, and half of those have come in terms of the deficit on second chance points.
And those are things that if you're the Wolverines, you just can't let Indiana Tech have. And you talk about where are those points coming from? 32 points in the paint for Indiana Tech, the Wolverines 16, right? Another glaring difference that the Wolverines just have not been as good as they could have been, down low. And that's what's been tough is they haven't had multiple people on this team to be able to step up into those positions. Jordan Banks doing a phenomenal job. She's only one person though.
Yeah.
And if you can get a few more people like Jordan Banks, then sure, maybe you have an opportunity for that. But again, when it was, we're talking about previous years, right? You got Maya Barracat and Jordan Banks.
Right.
Now you got the 1-2 punch. Like, you can have them both in at the same time. You can have one in while the other's getting some rest.
Right.
Like, those were things that when the Wolverines could do it, it worked to their advantage, right? But then when you have Marissa Thomas out there, who's the other 5'10" player for the Wolverines, her and Banks, they both can't be in that same space because someone, again, needs to be operating the offense in a way that Thomas has been a little more fluid at.
That jumper falls for 3, and that is number 3, Covington, with 21. And it is a 21-point lead just like that to begin the fourth quarter. You mentioned Jordan Banks, a double-double, 13 points, 12 boards to lead this Wolverine team. Grissom lost the ball on the drive. It is picked up by the Warriors. That was Lowry, and that's a feed intended for goalie, knocked out of bounds by Grissom. It'll stay with the Warriors, so plenty of action. Just 39 seconds into this quarter. Do we have a foul? We have a number being signaled to the...
Yeah.
No, they're asking for 24 on the shot clock.
Okay.
And off the inbounds, Decker gets the cut to the basket and off the glass and in.
Oh.
She's got 18. Wolverines dangerous in the backcourt.
Yeah, that was almost a inbound violation there.
That deficit is 23, just like that. And again, the Wolverines were within 13.
I was going to say 23 is crazy because it was a minute or two ago that we were saying that this was a 13-point game, right? But that's how fast things can change.
Dixon off on a look down low, rebound to the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors scored the last 5 points of the third and the first 5 of the fourth for this 10-0 run, and they find an open look for 3. Lowry off the mark. Grissom with the rebound. Wolverines will push. Wilson, high arcing 3 off the iron. That is her shot right there. Every look from 3. That high arch. Warriors running ahead of the pack of the Wolverines. Good ball movement to goalie. And a quick Wolverine timeout. 8:21 to go in this one. The Warriors pulling away up 63-38.
Catch up on University of Michigan Dearborn Athletics online at www.athletics.umdearborn.edu. Watch all the in-game action live online at www.athletics.umdearborn.edu.
Wolverines trailing 63-38 out of the timeout. This is Matt Lorneck. I'm Justin Valentine here from the Fieldhouse. Game 1 of our basketball doubleheader. Wolverines have the ball. Thomas spins to the basket and another strong drive from Marissa Thomas. Makes it 63-40. She's done that a couple times, spinning to the basket.
Yeah, I mean, again, you love to see her getting involved like that. A slower start to her night that is not normally what she does. But again, staying involved in the game. 8 points, helping her team out any way she can.
Warriors work it down low, and we got a foul on the floor. Looks like Decker got hit by Wilson. First foul of the quarter, 7:39 to go in the fourth. A very good Indiana Tech team.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, 11 straight wins. They already beat the Wolverines once back on November 26th. It was a 92-62 score back then, and miscommunication on the inbounds, but it's chased down by Gully. Warriors drive. Kicked into the perimeter. Decker fakes the pass, goes for the drive. Good ball movement. Finds Burris, can't complete it. Got her own rebound. Wide open Covington for three. She hits another. 24 for her. Her fifth make from three.
You know, at one point, Covington, not a slow start, but definitely a explosion in the second half here.
Yep. Thomas's three, too hard. Rebound comes out to Lowry.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You do feel like that desperation of matching threes needing to happen.
There's a
That's
block
a nice
for
block,
Banks.
yeah.
No call. It's out of bounds. It'll stay with the Warriors.
I think
Hood
Banks
in.
is shocked there's no call.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of contact in the body, and they said both players went up and clean block for Banks, as we talked about. She's been flip-flopping out of the top two in the conference. We talked to her mom at the break, and again, first question, how many blocks she got?
Yeah.
That is such an important stat for them, and she's got another one here, a couple in this second half.
Yeah, and you know, you love the fact that that's sort of what you've been preaching to your daughter in the terms of how she plays.
Yeah, that's a good feed again. Goalie, they've drawn that up for goalie a few times, and she hasn't hit all of them, but it's such a nice drawn-up play.
Yeah,
They
again,
got that one to fall.
When you can have a set play like that for a few people who you know work well underneath the basket, it's always something that you know you can go to, right? It feels comfortable, it feels reliable, and that's something that Indiana Tech has been able to exploit.
And now the cuts are just working for the Warriors. This time, it's Burris getting to the basket for the easy two. And just like that, it's a 30-point game. Wilson for three, short. Thomas, the offensive board. Putback deflected. Couple defenders over her.
Wanting the foul, not going to get it.
They'll give Smith the block there. And the Warriors will bring it up the floor. It's a Warrior team, 11-game win streak. They've won every game by double figures. That's how dominant this team has been. And they've won 14 of 15 in conference. Wolverines. Got a whistle here. That's going to be the second foul on the Wolverines, the first on Thomas. Grissom sits, Golson in. 6:09 to go in this one. And if you're the Wolverines, you know, 30-point game, we can chalk this one up to 0-24, 0-16 in conference play. You're a coach here at Lacrosse. Congratulations on that first win.
Thank you.
This past weekend. And so what's the message this late in the season, right? We're coming down. This is the 3-game homestand. They got about 4 or 5 games left on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Still looking for that first win. What is the message to the team to get them to come out, play hard, and try to escape this season and escape that dreaded winless season?
Right. I think what you definitely need to look at is, you know, what I would do, and again, it's everybody's own prerogative, but you got a lot of seniors on this team. You got a lot of juniors on this team. Make it something about how do we want to let everybody go out as seniors, right? How do you want your senior season to end, seniors? No, it's not going the way you wanted it to, but is there something that we can get out of this where we can feel like we gave you everything we had?
Yes.
And the one thing that we've continued to say about this team is that they have always fought, and they have always had that determination to go out swinging, right? And it really is just a matter of, you know, look, it's not going the way we want, but we have to start finding little victories in little things, right? Can we break the game down into the simplistic of terms and win the next 5 minutes?
Right.
And then focus on the next 5 minutes, and then the next 5 minutes. And if you break it down into pieces, it sometimes doesn't seem so daunting as winning the whole thing, right? If you put those little things together, success can come. And hopefully they're able to see that and feel that there were great parts of this game.
Thomas at the line makes it 70-41 off the foul. That is now 4 on Smith, first on the Warriors. And you're 100% right on that. I think another thing, too, is you drive to the basket here from Burris, short, Thomas with the rebound. Another thing, too, is, look, I think it's needless to say, and what is going to be an 0-24 season thus far, yeah, there's plenty of negatives to look at.
Of course.
But we've seen some very good quarters from this Wolverine team, especially late this season.
Yes.
And then games just get away from them. I think it's less focusing on what happens in those other 3 quarters, and let's just watch that first quarter film.
Yeah.
Right, that first quarter film from last week against Concordia, even tonight against Indiana Tech. What are we doing right?
Yeah.
And how do we get that play for 4 quarters?
100%.
Right? Rather than focusing on, because,
there's so much, and you're absolutely right. There's so much negative.
What we're doing wrong.
100%.
Let's talk about what we did right. And how do we do that right? Why do we do that right?
Yep.
And how do we do that again even more?
You're absolutely right. And that's part of what goes into all of this, right? Like in the coaching philosophy mindset of things, of course, do you want to look at the things you can correct and fix? Yes. But, studies have shown and research is out there that you catch more bees with honey, right?
Sure.
When you can go to your team and say, hey, here are the things we're doing really well. I want us to do more of those things.
Yep.
Instead of, here's the things we did really bad, let's just change that, right?
Yep.
Focus on 100%, like you said. Focus on what we do well. And let's just say, hey, we did this well. We need to do it well again, and we need to keep doing it well.
Do it some more. Media timeout here, 4:49 to go in this one. All Indiana Tech up 29.
Watch all the in-game action live online at www.athletics.umdearborn.edu. Catch up on University of Michigan Dearborn athletics online at www.athletics.umdearborn.edu.
Wolverines down 29, 4:45 to go in this one. Warriors with the ball. He's Matt Lornick. I'm Justin Valentine. Game 2 of our basketball doubleheader between the same 2 schools on the men's side will come up in about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Again, a little earlier start times than usual, not by much. Just to give the Warriors time to travel back before some winter weather hits in the Midwest here overnight. Nothing too crazy going into tomorrow, but I guess some snow and ice, in the late hours of the night.
Yeah.
So Warriors need to get back in time to beat that as we have a tie-up down low, and it looks like Thomas is going to get called for a foul. It's going to be 5 on the Wolverines. And the senior, Sarah, we just talked about senior, Sarah Malik. Into the game. Warriors in the bonus, so this will send Curran Smith to the line. On the Warriors' end, Jacqueline Cruz, the freshman, in. We saw her earlier on in the first half. Burris will sit, most likely for the evening.
You would think so.
And the first free throw stays out for Smith, who is 0 for 4 from the floor. Does have a couple assists tonight. Malik again getting some playing time. Got the brace on her right leg, right knee.
Yeah.
So getting, again, some floor time here with it now a 30-point lead for Indiana Tech. Warriors coming off a 70-42 win over Cleary last Saturday. So their dominance again continues. Golson on the drive, lays it up and in.
There you go.
Counted, and the foul. That's 3 on the Warriors, and
And look,
Hey.
you talked about it just in that last break, right? Like, what are we doing well? Hey, you know what? Clip this. Lillian Golson. This is a great drive.
Yes.
Hey, Lillian Golson, do more of that.
Yeah.
Like, and it has to be that learning experience because some of these people, like you talk about, Lillian Golson's a freshman, and you want to see those people stick around.
Yes.
You want to see, and that's what's really hard about when seasons are like this because you're potentially sending the seniors out on a way you don't want to, and you've got incoming younger players that are looking at it like, oh my God, is this how it's always going to be?
Sure.
And so now you've got this struggle of how do we keep retention when we know we're losing so many people?
Yeah.
It has to all be positive from the top down as best as possible. You got to be positive about putting that attitude and that mindset out there.
Point blank miss for goalie there. Hood thought about the 3. She'll drive. And we have a whistle on the floor against the Warriors. It's going to be 4 against her. You go back to that Golson play, too. I think the lesson from that is Golson can shoot the 3. We saw it earlier.
Yeah.
She knocked one down. It doesn't mean always shoot the 3.
No.
Use that threat to open up a drive because what did she do? She started on the perimeter.
Yep.
She thought about it. She got the defense to bite.
Yeah.
And you got ahead of the pack on the drive, which allows you to get the basket and the foul.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where as players get better and as players start to learn their game, that's the kind of stuff that you'll start to see out of certain players, right? Understanding where their best attributes can be used.
Hood too hard on that 3. Last foul was the first on Gabby Ritchie just into the game. She'll take the 3 and make the 3. So Gabby Ritchie, the freshman out of Logansport, Indiana, makes it a 30-point game. So the Warriors also getting some more players on the floor. It looks like Camille Keys is going to come in as well. Going to the scores table for the Warriors. Scott works and the Wolverines find Malik open for 3. Off the front iron. Long rebound out to Barton. Barton led the Warriors with 14 points last time they played the Wolverines in November. Driving baseline. Off the bottom of the basket. Fighting for the rebound. Golson
Was
comes
that a
away.
block for Golson, too?
It might have been. Cruz couldn't get that one to go. We'll see if they officially give that one to her. 2.5 to play in this one. Malik. Top of the key. Couldn't get help on the screen. She'll do it herself on the drive. Kicked out Scott. Corner 3 short. And the rebound comes out to goalie. Warriors push. Ritchie works at Lowry, and Wilson got tied up with Barton, who hits the deck, and we may have a Wolverine foul here with 2:14 to go. And Warriors already in the bonus, and a near wholesale change coming. Maddie Mueller is in, as I mentioned. Keys coming in as well.
Yep.
Ava Smith, the freshman, getting on the floor for this Warrior team. And Barton at the line most likely will be subbed out after these free throws. We have one more Warrior at the scorer's table. First free throw falls. 2 fouls on Wilson. Head coach Jessie Biggs in her 13th season making the moves, and another 20-win season for her.
Yeah, and Indiana Tech just in general, a very good program with athletics across the board.
Yes.
So they are no stranger to being in this area of, again, you mentioned 20-win seasons, first place.
Yeah.
It's really just the entire culture of
what
that
they do.
of that university. But look
How
at
about
again.
Golson?
This is Golson again.
3-point play try. Again, her second of the quarter with 2:01 to go. And she's going back to the line. So Golson coming through. And just like that, she's got 8 looking for 9 points.
And look, that's part of what you got to start building off of, right? That opportunity for other players like that to get going.
Offensive board, Scott. Wilson floater off the mark, and the rebound brought down by Smith. Jenna McFarland in as well on Indiana Tech's end. Hard drive there, drawing a foul, Ritchie. And free throws coming for the Warriors with 1:46 to go. Wolverines going to get a couple more players onto the floor momentarily. Another will be, looks like Liliana Johnson coming in. Hood and Scott will sit. Wolverines.
Juju Clyde as well coming into the game.
Yes, Juju Clyte. So, yes, Liliana Johnson, Juju Clayton, number 14 and 15, respectively, in white for the Wolverines, coming off the foul, which was the first on Hood. Her night is over anyway. Banks and the regulars on the bench for the Wolverines. As we finish this one out, Richie hits the second free throw, 78-46. Yes, some of these on the floor is the Wolverine future.
Yeah, and that's where you got to start putting some of that focus.
Malik's jumper off the iron. Rebound brought down by McFarland, the redshirt junior. Richie active in her limited minutes late in this one.
You know, it's hard to say, but I've been in the situation of the tough seasons, right?
Yes.
It's almost easier to be the coach in that situation.
Sure.
Because your mindset can only be positive. You have nothing else to do but focus on positive and push things towards positivity.
Right.
Because when you're winning all the time, like Coach Biggs, I would say it's probably harder for her
Oh, for sure.
to keep your team focused. Because I would assume that it's the start of this game, if you're Coach Biggs, you're looking at it like, what the heck are we doing?
Sure.
Right? Like, Wolverines, they come out started this game. We're playing with house money.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
nothing to lose.
I mean, we said it. We're down 3 after one quarter. If you're the Wolverines, you're like, let's go. If
Yeah,
you're the
we'll
Warriors,
take
you're
it.
like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yet we're winning.
And
right?
that's how light things can still feel for the Wolverines moving forward. Yes, it's hard when things aren't going your way, especially in terms of the wins, but it also is freeing to know somewhat that, hey, look, every single time we take the floor, it's a brand new slate. We just got to go out and focus on that one thing that we got to do.
Richie, the offensive board, works it down low. Smith lost
There
it,
you
loose
go.
ball. Hustle there from Wilson, but it's picked up by Richie. 45 seconds to go. But down to 5 on their shot clock. Richie for 3, short. Rebound out of bounds. Wolverines take it with 36.9 seconds to go. Talk about the Indiana Tech program. We got the men's team coming up, and they're in very similar situation.
Yeah, almost identical records.
14-1 in conference play, 17-5 overall, the top of the WAC. So the men's side's got a tough competition coming up. Of course, they've been back and forth as the Warriors force a turnover. 10 seconds to go, no shot clock. They can run this one out, and Richie will do so. She hangs on, and the Warriors are going to send the Wolverines on the season to 0-24, 0-16 in conference play. Their 12th straight win, 78-48, your final score.
Yeah, and again, you know, not anything you would want if you were the Wolverines, but listen, as much as it sucks to say over and over, there's positives here.
Yes.
And there has to be that mindset of, look, we can do it. We've done it.
Yes.
We've put together those kinds of things. Let's keep doing those things that we do and putting together good performances like we know we can put together. And really, when you do that and when you get all those things going, eventually the other shoe will drop. And eventually you will get into that situation where you're able to finally get that win and finally perform at the level that you feel like you could have and should have been performing at all along.
Well, the Wolverines, led by Jordan Banks, 13 points, 13 boards. Marissa Thomas came in with 9. Shout out to that strong second half, that strong fourth quarter for Golson. She had 8. And the Warriors, led by Taylor Covington's 24 points. Genevieve Decker added 18. The Wolverines back at home Saturday afternoon against an Uno team that is number 1 in scoring in the WAC. So another tough test coming for this Wolverine team.